Good morning. As introduced, my name is John Hawkins, and I'm honored to serve as the CAL FIRE Riverside County Fire Chief. But I'm more honored today to have all of us gathered for this very important press conference. We have information we think is very important to carrying forth our mission during the 2015 dry season. First and foremost, thank you and welcome for attending. In Riverside County, we run a cooperative, integrated regional fire protection system. And I'd like you to think about what those 6 words really mean, because our elected and appointed officials at the county level and at the local city levels, 21 of the cities we protect, are all very supportive of what we do here with our integrated system. We're proud to work shoulder to shoulder with local, state, and federal firefighters. And if you look at the panorama of people behind me, you will notice that there is a mixture of everyone. We're very proud of that. So what's going to happen with fire season 2015? Do we predict how the severity of fire season? No, we don't. Do we have an idea what it might be like? Yes, we do. And we're concerned because of the early drying and the early occurrence of fires. As such, we feel that the fire season 2015 presents a greater risk to not only civilians, but to our firefighters. The current fuel moisture and drought conditions, although we see this weather overhead and we see moisture puddles on the ground, it'll last 4 hours in Southern California and it'll dry out. And California will become dry and vulnerable to fire. The Hammett-Ryan Air Attack Base, which we're very fortunate that Director Pimlott has saw fit to have this press conference today, is one of the busiest in the state of California. The Hammett-Ryan Air Attack Base is pivotal to much of the air resource deployment and the early attack of fires. CAL FIRE expects to attack our fires and hold them in an initial attack phase 95% of the time. After our press conference, we'll be open to questions, and we will have a barbecue here that we ask that you stay. And with that, I'd like to introduce my superior, Director Ken Pimlott, the CAL FIRE Chief, and he's going to provide some very important points for you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to kick this off. And again, I'll close with, I'm very proud, very honored to serve as Riverside County's Fire Chief.
Thank you, Chief Hawkins. So I just want to point out at the beginning that smoke that's lofting through the area here is not a wildland fire. It is the smoke from the barbecue that Chief Hawkins referred to, and it smells really good. So we look forward to that afterward. As Chief Hawkins pointed out, we are spending this week, this is Wildfire Awareness Week statewide, and we have spent the week going from press conference to press conference across the state to talk about the fire conditions we're facing here in California. And as Chief Hawkins said, don't let the weather today fool you that conditions are any different than they will be tomorrow. We will be right back in to some of the most extreme fire conditions that the state has faced in its history. 4 years of unprecedented drought has left the state dry from the Oregon border to San Diego. For the second year in a row, Governor Brown has provided an unprecedented number of resources to CAL FIRE to combat the conditions that we're seeing. We had 70 fire engines staffed around California throughout the winter, which is unheard of. We've brought resources, fire engines, air tankers, helicopters. Those resources you see here today, in many areas we've brought those on 6 to 8 weeks early. We've brought on additional firefighters to staff our fire engines. We brought on 2 additional large air tankers that will be deployed around the state to supplement our already existing world-class fleet of aviation resources that you see again right here behind me. We are ready with the partners that are behind me. Chief Hawkins talked about the partnerships. We don't do it alone in California, we do it together. And all of the folks you see behind me, from the National Guard to our local government partners to our federal partners, our state agency partners at OES, all of us work together to combat the fires. But again, we can't, as fire agencies, do it alone. We need the public to step up to help us in this challenge across the state. 95% of wildland fires in California are started by people. 95%. That means that 95% of fires can be prevented. There are some very simple tools that we have at our disposal that will help the public know what they need to do and go do it. We've talked about it before. It's simple. It's ready, set, go. You can go to the website, readyforwildfire.org, and learn all that you need to about that. But simply said, ready. Ready means preparing your home ahead of time. It means doing that defensible space, clearing around your home so that fire will not impinge on and destroy it. It will provide an opportunity for firefighters to protect your home and be effective at doing that. For years, we've talked about using lawns, greenscape, to help in reducing the flammability as one of the tools to protect homes. Well, we're in the 4th year of drought, and I think you've heard Governor Brown say very clearly, we're not doing lawns anymore. Lawns, they waste water that could be used for communities that need it critically for domestic water supplies. There are communities that have no water. So we are not promoting lawns as defensible space tools. So what that means is when you stop watering your lawn, it can die and become part of the fire problem. So we are encouraging everybody to maintain and remove that dead material, any of the dead material around your home so that it doesn't contribute to the fire problem. So again, all of that goes into the ready, and then it's the set. It's preparing your evacuation plan, identifying what you're going to take with you when a fire occurs. It's planning your escape route so that you have at least 2 ways out of your community, having all of that set prior to the fire. And then lastly, it's go, and it means just that. Leave the fire area, leave your community early, even before firefighters and law enforcement ask you to, so that you can get out of the way safely and firefighters and law enforcement can come in to safely protect your home. We are already at over 1,100 fires to date, just the first 4 months of the year. That's twice as many fires as we would normally have in California on an average year. So again, it will be dry, it will warm up in the next few days, we'll be back to warm temperatures, and fires will again be the occurrence. So we need to be ready this year. We need you to be ready as the public so that we can all work through the fire challenges in California. So with that, I would like to introduce Chief Shauna Lagarza, the Director of Fire and Aviation for the Forest Service here in California.
Thank you, Chief Penlot. Again, my name is Shauna Lagarza. I'm the Regional Director of Fire and Aviation Management here in Region 5 U.S. Forest Service. So today I just would like to say thank you for having us down here. Wildfire Awareness Week is such an important week to get the message out for fire prevention and suppression in the state of California. It's been a busy week, and it's great to come down to Southern California. And I know there's a little bit of moisture in the air today and yesterday, but just a few days ago, at elevations on the San Bernardino National Forest, we picked up fires, elevations of 5,000 and 6,000 feet, and they were burning in fields that were dead and down and very, very dry. And we were able to get in there and suppress those fires. So the season this year is going to be an exceptional season. And we've seen these past few months fires in different parts of California in elevations and on different slopes that should not have fires at that time of the year. So that's a sign that we need to continue to be prepared as all agencies and the public. And so the U.S. Forest Service is fully prepared this year to be ready for the wildland fire season. Some things that we noticed in January and February was to bring on some air tankers earlier and some helicopters earlier than normal. We revamped our hiring season so we could get our seasonals on earlier than we have in the past. We started our prevention and education teams traveling the state interagency to get the word out about fire prevention. The readyforwildfire.org website has information about One Less Spark, One Less Wildfire campaign. It gives you information if you're going to visit the National Forest. Before you go into the National Forest, make sure you check for fire restrictions when you're out there and be responsible for your activities on the National Forest lands. We really need your help as the public. The last thing I think about being down here in Southern California, it's amazing the relationships and partnerships we have with all the agencies we see here and out in the field, federal, state, city, local government, tribal, military, and non-for-profit. And we can't do it alone. Cohesive strategy talks just about that. Wildland fire response response together, because fire in Southern California is 24/7, 365. It also talks about fire-adapted communities and resilient landscapes. So thank you very much for having us here today, and it's my pleasure to introduce Chief Dale Hutchison. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dale Hutchinson. I am the Southern Region Chief for CAL FIRE. I manage the operations for the southern half of California. A couple of items I just want to touch on this morning have to do with our conditions throughout the southern part of the state, and also some of the things that are going on in the preparation phase for the dry season that we're moving into. In the southern part of California, CAL FIRE has staffed all their fire stations and their air attack bases and helicopter bases. So we're fully ready to meet the threat that we're experiencing right now, and we're moving forward much earlier than normal with moving to what we call peak staffing, and that'll occur the middle of this month, and we'll have even additional resources available. So with the conditions, we're meeting the threat, and as was discussed earlier, we met the threat over the wintertime period by having engine resources and aircraft resources available, not only for initial attack, but our engine crews have been busy all winter long doing training, doing preparations and for the next fire season, and also for getting out in the communities and touching base with folks and doing inspections and education programs. And I think one of the most important things that we touched on earlier is the drought conditions. And one of the things that we're concentrating on at the unit level throughout the state is making sure that all of our resources, fire department resources, understand what water is truly available this year. We're in the fourth year of a drought, and there are many places in the rural environment that there may not be water for us to utilize in fire suppression. So we're going out and making sure that if there are any creeks or ponds or stock ponds or lakes, we want to make sure what the conditions are to actually get to the water if it's available, and document how we can get to it or cannot get to that. And then the next thing is the outreach to the communities and the stakeholders that are responsible for those water systems that we may have to tap into. We want to make sure what is available, what are their concerns, and we can work together if we do have an emergency. And it wouldn't just be a wildland fire. It could be making sure the water system would sustain after a non-fire emergency, such as an earthquake or any type of disaster. And then the same thing on a municipal water system. We want to make sure that if we have to tap into that we're working collectively to know the impacts to that system. So all of our units are out doing that type of survey as they do their inspections this year, and we are very, very fortunate that we have the good relationships with all of our stakeholders to actually survey that and get that information. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Riverside County Supervisor Chuck Washington for some words.
Thank you, Chief Hutchins. It's very exciting to be here. I'm going to have to confess that as a 7-year active duty Navy pilot and 25-year Delta airline pilot, all this aviation stuff behind me really gets the heart pumping. And I would love to be up in the air right now and looking at all you folks from up there. But that's not what we're here about. And now as the county supervisor, it's my job to make sure that my constituents in the 3rd District and the entire county are protected from the dangers of wildfires. When I look at the 3rd District, which goes just beyond wine country and the vines all the way up to Mount San Jacinto, including Idlewild, and I look at the potential dangers that exist within the 3rd District, it gives me great concern, and I want to know that through the efforts and partnerships that we have, that they're protected. I visit on a regular basis up in the Idlewild area. They have significant challenges in terms of dangers posed by beetles, a lack of water. They're drying out, and their lack of water is occurring at a faster rate than we down here in the valley experience, even though all of us are exposed to that same danger that's created from a lack of water. So I'm happy and excited that we're bringing in the awareness to the public through this kind of a press conference, and that all of our partners are signifying that they're willing to work together and work hard to protect life and property, and that my constituents are well taken care of. So I congratulate everyone that's a part of that. And with that, I'd like to introduce County Assistant CEO George Johnson.
Thank you, Supervisor Washington. It really is a pleasure to be here today. It's exciting to see the turnout we have, and it's very rewarding to be part of this event. Two themes that I heard as I was listening to the previous speakers. One is partnership, and the other is planning and being prepared. We all know we're in the fourth year of a very significant drought in California. We know that we're going to have wildfires, and here in Riverside County, we know it's just a matter of when those wildfires will occur. So we really do appreciate, at the local level, having a strong partnership with CAL FIRE. And in fact, our partnership dates back to 1931. And it's also very appropriate that we're here at the Hemet Ryan Air Attack Base, where we've been fighting fires since 1959. And as we look forward for the next future 50 years, improving our facilities here, working with CAL FIRE to do that. In Riverside County, we do take emergency management very seriously, and as such, we are recommending to the Board of Supervisors that we create a new emergency management department, and we expect that department will be approved on Tuesday, where we'll combine the services of our Offices of Emergency Services, our Public Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Unit, and our Riverside Emergency Medical Services Agency into one fully integrated, coordinated agency so we can improve our planning, preparedness, and response effort as we deal with emergencies that will come our way in Riverside County. So thank you for letting me be here today, and it's my pleasure to introduce Chief Kim Zagaris.
Good morning. The good news is I'm actually the last speaker, and then it'll be questions for you. I work for the Governor's Office of Emergency Services. I'm the State Fire and Rescue Chief. My primary responsibility is to work with the California Fire Service at the local, state, federal, tribal, our Guard, California National Guard, and our federal DOD departments to provide probably the world's best integrated fire protection system in the world. I mean that wholeheartedly. We also are lucky enough to have probably the world's best mutual aid system that you can find anywhere out there. As good as we are, as much as our folks train, we're still going to be tested. Our best prevention tool is going to be the public and those citizens that visit this great state this summer. We ask that you all go to the website, be ready, set, go when the bell goes off to help us, but mostly to help our fire personnel, law enforcement, and other first responders in this state be able to do their job in the best possible manner out there. Keep those firefighters and those first responders and their families in your thoughts and prayers this summer. We're there for you if you need us. But remember, you're our best line of defense. As Chief Pimlott's already stated, 95% of the fires in the state can be prevented. Thank you very much.